Welcome to the Barely Making It podcast, a podcast where we'll be talking about things like boys, relationships, college stress, careers, basically anything else we think of. I'm Laura.
And I'm Maddie.
And welcome to our first episode. We have a lot of things we want to go over today.
Like, probably too many.
We don't want it to be too long.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of allow you guys to learn who we are, our relationship, all that fun stuff. So, like I said, I'm Laura. I'm 20 years old. I'm a communications major here at Michigan State University.
I'm Maddie, and I am also 20, very recently.
Woo.
I'm a sophomore here, and I don't have a major, and actually, I am moving schools pretty soon, so...
Sad.
The whole MSU thing is going to change pretty soon to IUSB, but...
Still a Spartan at heart, you know?
Oh, for sure. I still have all the t-shirts and sweatshirts and blankets and everything to commemorate this part.
So, we are roommates, and it's a fun time. We basically met each other on social media.
Yeah, through one of our other roommates.
Who is?
My cousin, Peyton.
Shout out to you, Peyton.
Yeah, she said we could say her name, so it's okay.
Also, shout out to Michelle, our other roommate. She's actually kind of sad that she can't be sitting in here while we're recording this. And she was so mad when we said no to her sitting in here because I didn't want it to be awkward.
Her logic was she'd be really quiet. She'd just be in the back watching videos on her phone as we recorded a podcast, so.
Doesn't really make sense, but love you, Michelle.
Had to veto that one.
So yeah, Michelle and I were looking for roommates at, towards the beginning of sophomore year of last year, and we didn't have anyone to live with, so we posted on the Facebook group, a Facebook page, and Peyton messaged us, and we were messaging for a while, and then turns out Maddie also needed a place to live.
Mm-hmm.
So it was perfect.
I was planning on living in a different place on campus, but me and Peyton decided to live together after that kind of fell through for a couple different reasons, but it kind of worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
But it's weird to think that we haven't known each other for very long. We only met once before we moved in together.
That's wild.
And we've gotten, really close really fast.
Yeah, which has been amazing. I love it.
I was really nervous because like I said, I'd only met Laura once, and I don't think I'd met Michelle.
No, I don't think you did.
Ever, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, well, actually I did. I saw you and her, after the day we met.
Oh my god,
yeah,
I forgot about that.
I went with my friend, who I was actually supposed to live with. I went with her to a caf on campus, and, had just met Laura earlier that day.
Oh my god,
and ran into her and Michelle. And I couldn't really tell if it was Laura or not, because I'd only met her once.
Time.
And so I was just kind of staring at her, all through eating, is that her? And then, afterwards.
Is that the girl?
Yeah, is that the girl? And then afterwards, it turns out it was, and I met Michelle very briefly.
That's so funny.
She was on crutches.
Oh my god.
I don't know why, but she was on crutches.
Oh no, I forgot about that. Yeah, so it's been really fun getting along, and I feel like we just have so many fun times together, and our personalities go so well together, and it's a blast, I'd say.
We have, a lot of the same interests, eerily so.
Yeah, it's weird.
But enough, differences in them to where we can, talk to each other about, oh, you should watch this, or you should look at this.
We both love YouTube.
Oh, for sure.
So much. Don't even get us started about the Shane Dawson series.
Oh, my God. Okay, so, off topic a little bit, but still very on topic. The Jake Paul, trailer for his new thing. I, refuse to watch it. I was absolutely not.
No disrespect. But just, not our interest.
Our thing.
Yeah, not our thing. We love, what do we love? Cheesy Christmas movies. We love YouTube videos.
Ariana Grande.
I was going to say Ariana Grande. That's an obvious one. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's pretty great that we get along so well. And we both love podcasts and listening to podcasts. So it was just it felt right.
Yeah.
To want to do one together.
Both of us have always been those kids where we want to, be online and do something. Mm-hmm, but for me, it's really hard because, I'm not great with video editing, and I also don't like to, see myself in videos. It's hard enough to listen back to my voice.
Yeah.
But, looking at myself in a video, I can't do it.
Yeah, so, you have to look so nice all the time, and it's just a lot of work.
We're basically in our pajamas right now.
I'm literally wearing sweatpants, have slippers on, and a sweatshirt, and I'm feeling in my prime right now.
Oh, yeah, got the bun,
oh, yeah.
set.
I guess we could transition into why we wanted to do this whole thing. Like we both said, we have always wanted to kind of like be online and do stuff. And I don't know, we were kind of talking the other night and saying that there's so much that we think and kind of keep bottled up inside of us. At least I know for me personally. And this is terrible, but I'm so bad at communicating my thoughts and feelings to people. Same. And I'm like, you know what? This is the perfect way to do it. I have so many notes written down. I have so many topics that I want to touch on throughout all of our episodes. And I feel like this is going to be the perfect platform to just let my thoughts be heard.
And I think it's really nice to be able to do it with someone who you have so many like similar experiences and similar thoughts on things, because then you can talk it out even if you don't have like your thoughts perfectly written down or explained out. Like you can talk it out with each other and kind of figure it out. So I think that's what we wanted to use this for. And so many weird things like happen to both of us.
Oh
like we just need a place to tell these stories.
Yeah. I mean, do you want to tell them
about
the incident?
Yeah, I mean, do you want to start or do you want me to?
I'll start. So, what was it? Probably like a month into school like this year. Like, it was probably mid-September. I guess we have to preface it with me getting followed, which you're probably like, what the heck? But one day I was coming home from my job, and this car pulled out behind me, like cut the car off behind me, and like pulled up. He was literally riding my butt when I was driving, and he rolled his window down, and it looked like he was taking a picture of my license plate or of my car.
Which is like nuts.
Creepy. And his windows were completely tinted, so he like rolled his windows back up, and he was just riding my butt the entire time. And I knew something was up, so I was kind of driving in random places, making random turns to see if he was following me, and he definitely was. And it was really terrifying, so I called my dad. I was like, not to alarm you, but I'm getting followed.
Yeah, there's a situation.
Yeah, I was like, I was panicking. And so I was pretty far off campus, and I was going to do one more test to see, like, if this was legit. Yeah. And then I was about to make that turn before I was going to head to the police station, because I knew I got to go to the police station or the fire station to see,
like, hopefully that'll scare him
away. So he knows I'm not stupid. I know you're following me, and I'm going to be safe about it. But I was doing, like, my last turn, and he slowed by right next to me and just looked at me and then sped off. It was the creepiest thing ever.
And to preface there's so many, like, things like that happened around MSU's campus. Like, there's so much human trafficking that goes through, like, Lansing and East Lansing.
Yeah, it's scary.
And, like, there's so many text chains and stuff about girls being like, listen, like, this is what happened.
Yeah.
Sketchy stuff's going on. Like, people are looking through our windows. And so it's a very real thing. It wasn't like we're blowing this out of proportion. It was very scary.
It was terrifying. And I came back to the apartment, and I was like, oh my God, you guys, like, you'll never guess what happened. And I called the police. Like, they couldn't do much about it. I called them and just kind of, like, let them know what was up.
That way, like, it's on record if something happens again.
Which something did.
So, Laura had left the apartment for work around, what did you say, like...
It was, like, 3 or 4 in the afternoon.
And she was the last one to leave the apartment, and then I got home from class around 6. So it was, like, 2-3 hours of just no one in the apartment, and I got home, and we all have, like, our Find My Friends on for each other.
Yeah, gotta track your friends' locations.
Yeah, it's just nice to have especially if you live in an apartment with each other, so you know, like, oh, like, this person's home, I can't be, like, crazy loud, whatever. Yeah. Or for situations like this. So I walk in, and I walk through our apartment, and, like, go to open our door, and see that it is actually already wide open.
Terrifying.
Like, not a crack, not a peek, like, it's wide open. And I definitely, like, should have called the police right away, after I checked that you guys weren't home. So I, like, texted everyone in our group chat and was like, hey, is there any reason that the front door is completely open? Because sometimes if you're bringing stuff in from your car, like, you leave it open just so you don't have to get out your key every time. And I figured that's what it was. And then I checked our location, everyone's location, and saw no one was anywhere near our apartment. And so I was like, oh, So I texted them, I was like, is there any reason this would be completely open? And they were all like,
I remember I was at work, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, everyone was like, no.
No.
Definitely not. So I This is when I should have called the police, just for anyone listening.
Now you were gonna fight him off.
If this happens to you, call the police.
Oh my god, please call the police.
So I, like, take a knife from our butcher's block and my phone.
Obviously.
And I look in, like, literally every room there is and, like, see, like, okay, like, I'm checking everywhere. I checked, like, behind and next to our washer and dryer.
Under
We're, like,
the beds.
under the beds, because our beds are, like, lifted off the ground. I checked, like, deep in the closets. Like,
no one
I checked
there.
everywhere, and there was no one. And
Thank God.
Laura is like, is my laptop on my bed?
Oh my god, I was so paranoid that someone broke in and stole my laptop because I knew I left it right on top of my bed, and I was like, if they're smart,
they're gonna grab it.
they're gonna grab my laptop.
So I checked, that was there. It didn't seem like anything was taken.
I didn't care about you.
I know. Everyone was like, oh my god,
Where's
like,
our
where's my
stuff?
stuff? And I'm like, well, I'm dead on the floor at this point.
Yeah,
but
it's fine. Like, not risking my life or anything.
Oh, no. So it doesn't seem like anything's taken, and so I'm just kind of like, what the heck? And for a little while, like, I played off like, oh, well, obviously, like, Laura probably just left the door open, and it's probably just that, like, someone just forgot to close the door. And then, like, as I'm sitting in my room, like, with my door locked, because I'm a little spooked, I'm just like, that doesn't make any sense. Because we're all pretty paranoid, I would say.
Oh, for sure.
Like, we definitely are careful about things. I mean, we're 4 young women.
We're really aware of our surroundings, which
Very
is a
much so.
great characteristic
Especially
to have.
after
This shit.
Yeah, especially after Laura's...
Sorry. Oh my god, if my parents are listening, I'm really gonna try not to swear. But sometimes it just happens.
It's just a slip of the tongue. But especially after Laura was followed, we were just all being super careful.
And that's the thing, is I knew when Maddie said, like, we figured out that I was the last one to leave. So if anyone was going to leave the door open, it would have been me. And I told them, because our door takes a lot of effort to shut it. Like,
There's
you
a
really
rug
have
in
to,
front of it,
you
too.
really have to pull on our door to make sure it's shut. And I told them, I was like, listen, I know for a fact I shut it because I've been so dang paranoid recently, ever since getting followed. Like, I was like, I knew for a fact I shut it. So something weird happened.
And so once everybody got home, I was like,
I don't feel good.
Yeah,
about
like, maybe
this.
we should call the police. So we called
did.
the police, and they were like, well, maybe you should get a dog.
Yeah, they were like, are any of you guys 21? And we were like, yeah. And because our roommate Peyton is. And she's like, you could get a concealed carry license. And we were like, not our cup of tea.
Yeah,
But-
especially not in an apartment.
Yeah,
Like,
we just weren't comfortable
Yeah.
with it. But yeah, and she said, like, you can get a dog. And, like, I'm so allergic
Yeah.
that wouldn't have rolled.
I mean, she was trying to do what she could.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot she could do because it's not like anything was taken. And we know how it looks. There were 4 young girls, and I think everyone was like, oh, well, you guys clearly, like, just left your door unlocked. But we were we were pretty freaked out.
Yeah.
We're like, oh my god, what if somebody, like, put a camera in here? Like,
Oh,
what if...
my
Yeah,
God.
it was very,
that
like...
freaked me out when the idea came up that, like, what if someone stuck a camera in our apartment?
Yeah, and
we were like,
I think
oh
we
my
were
God.
all calling our parents, like, frantically, like, oh my god.
Oh, literally, I called my parents. They're like, no, you probably just left the door open. And oh my god, if I had $1 for every time someone told me I probably just left the door open, I would be loaded. But one thing that was nice is the police officer was like, you know, like, we're gonna, like, check your apartment. And we're gonna patrol, which we have noticed that they do spend a lot of time here checking, and
Oh, for sure.
security's
like, a lot of time.
legit now, which makes us feel a lot better. But I'm telling you, I could not, like, sleep peacefully in that apartment for, like, a week after. I was so terrified.
And we were all leaving that weekend,
Oh my
and Laura
God.
was going to be the only one that was home.
Yeah, they were all gonna leave me in my sketchy apartment for the weekend, and so I ended up having some friends from work spend the night.
Yeah, we were
which
like,
was
we're
good.
not gonna just leave you by yourself.
Yeah.
Like, if no one comes over, we're staying.
Yeah, but it ended up well. But it was just the weirdest first month of college.
Just a series of truly unfortunate events.
I feel like just life was.
we were barely making it.
Oh,
Wow,
true.
callback.
I was gonna say life was just shitting on us
Yeah,
for
there you
that
go.
month, but
True.
yeah, barely making it. Way to connect it to the name. Kind of a long story, but
Yeah.
it's a funny thing,
It
and I
was
feel like
like
we're
we
gonna
needed to
reference
tell
it.
it. Yeah, we
So we don't want this episode to be too long, and
we have so many topics that we want to touch on.
should we give them a little preview of just
Yeah, and some of them obviously we'll go into a lot more depth on, and some of them will just be like,
little touches of that
Yeah.
topic, not a whole episode
For
on
sure.
this. Obviously, okay, boys. That's a big topic.
yeah.
Just relationships, dating in college, why it's the best thing, but
But
like
also
also the
the
worst
worst.
thing ever. Just college stress. Oh my god, choosing a major and finals week. Right now, this is our last week of classes, and then next week is finals week, and I'm starting to
I think all of us, like,
stress.
the panic is set in.
Now, we want to talk about, I know, like, one thing that we thought would be really interesting is, like, being a young woman in college and
Just
all of that.
what it means, what the stresses are.
And parties and, like frat
Oh
parties.
my God.
Oh my god, don't even get me
I could talk
started
for
on how much I hate
days.
frat parties.
Days.
And peer pressure, but also things like stress and anxiety or like any of that. There's just so many things we want to talk about. I'm really excited. This will be really fun. I think that's it for the first episode.
So, welcome to Barely Making It.
Next week's episode, we're going to talk about college.
Yes. Just
Dun,
a
dun,
good
dun.
overview of it. Just college.
Oh, God.
So stay tuned for that.
It's a fun
and
time. Yeah, and we'll talk to you guys in the next episode.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.